यूपीएससी प्रेपलैब, आपकी तैयारी हमारी जिम्मेदारी।
Hello students, welcome to UPSC Preplab. This is Dhanunjay Reddy coming out with the previous year questions of Polity 2021. We all know that previous year questions play a very crucial role in cracking UPSC Prelims as well as main. They are considered as the secret codes that was sent by UPSC examiners to the so-called UPSC candidates. So if your goal is to crack UPSC at any time, all these previous year questions are important. So here we are dealing with polity in this session. Similarly, if you want to have other previous year questions, discussions of other subjects, be it economics, history, ecology, environment, science and technology, current affairs, everything, then what you can do is you can simply subscribe to our Telegram channel or to our UPSC courses at UPSC Preplab. So UPSC Preplab is one-stop solution for all your UPSC preparation, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be covering basic NCERTs which are crucial for UPSC examination, and we will be telling you fundamentals and foundations of this course. We'll be telling you current affairs which are important, how to prepare for the mains and test series regarding for this. So you can subscribe to our UPSC Preplab by just ₹1, and you can use my code DReddy. I am Dhanunjay Reddy, so you can join this course by using our subscription maximum discount DReddy. You can subscribe for all this at just ₹1, where you will be getting high content materials, high content classes for UPSC preparation, just like how we are doing the previous year questions of polity. So like this, not only for polity, other subjects are also important. So far, we have conducted 2026, 2025, 24, 23, 22. 5 previous year questions discussions were done. Now we are doing with 2021 prelims polity questions. So let's have a look at this. Before going into this, how many questions were asked in 2021? 17 questions were asked from polity. 1 question is from federal structures, 3 questions from political science concepts, 2 questions from judiciary and courts, 1 question on the citizenship rights, 1 question on the parliament and parliamentary proceedings, 1 question on the ministries and departments, 3 questions on fundamental rights, 1 question on the preamble, 1 question on DPSPs, 1 question on 7th schedule, scheduled tribes, and the so-called awards like Bharat Ratna. So 2021 carried 17 questions. You can imagine, right? 1/5 of the paper almost is from polity. If you want to clear this examination, this is very important, polity. Let's have a look at how the questions are. Majority of the questions were testing the conceptual understanding. The UPSC wants to test whether you have understood the concepts or not among the Indian Constitution. That is what they are questioning. And as a result, 21 questions are, majority of them are easy to moderate. So 2021 is very easy as far as polity is considered. Let's have a look at what are the questions and how the answers will be there. The first question says this: which one of the following in Indian polity is essential feature that indicates that India is a federal in character? Which says that what are the federal features of Indian Constitution? If you know this, there are some federal features of Indian Constitution. What are the federal features of Indian Constitution? You have a code for SBI written exam. You have to take DD. SBI WRDD. S is supremacy of constitution. Supremacy of constitution. B is bicameralism, where you have 2 houses, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. I is independent judiciary. Judiciary is considered as the so-called the guardian of Indian Constitution. As a result, independence of judiciary is more important. Written constitution is W. Rigid constitution. You cannot change the constitution very easily. You have to go through Article 368. Dual polity, that is 2 governments, one at the center, second at the states, and division of powers by the 7th schedule. All these are federal characters. Very simple question. Every aspirant will be knowing it. Now they are asking, which among the following is essential feature that indicates India is a federal thing? As I said, in order to call India as a federation, one of the most important thing that you have is independence of judiciary. And independence of judiciary is safeguarded by the Constitution. So this is the feature. So they are asking what is the federal features. So the answer is A. Union legislature has elected representatives. Union cabinet can have elected representatives. The fundamental rights are enforceable by courts. These are not federal aspects. The federal aspects is independence of judiciary is safeguarded in this country. Independence of judiciary is safeguarded here. This is the first thing that we should know. Very simple question, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is A. Moving to the next question. Which of the following best defines the state? Now, this is the concept of political science, definition of state. Now, if you look at Article 12 of Indian Constitution and Article 35 of Indian Constitution, they say that what is state? They define what is state. However, definition of state itself is political science theme. Only PSR students can answer these type of questions, so I said it as difficult. Which of the following best describes the term state? What do you mean by state here? Now, it is a community of persons permanently occupying a definite territory, independent of external control, possessing an organized government. Always remember, state will have four elements. State contains a definite boundary, territory. It contains a definite set of citizens, people. It will have government and it will have sovereignty. These are the four elements of state. Government, the organ of the state, people, territory, and sovereignty of the government. So a community of persons permanently occupying a definite territory, independent of external control, possessing an organized government. And this government should have sovereignty, that is called state. This is what the state is. So state definition itself is this. State definition itself is this. So remember, state should have these four characteristics. The answer is A. With reference to Indian judiciary, consider the following. So the question is asked on Indian judiciary. Any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be called back to sit and act as Supreme Court judge by the Chief Justice of India with prior permission of President of India. Now, any retired judge of the Supreme Court can be called to sit and act as judge. Now, in Indian judiciary, you have 35 judges. Supreme Court has 35 judges, 34 plus 1. Now, if there is some vacancy in the judges of Supreme Court, what is the procedure to fill up this vacancy? Any retired judge can be called back to occupy this chair to hear a case. However, who can call this person back? The CJI, Chief Justice of India, with prior permission of President, can call this person to act as an ad hoc judge. Retired judges can come and sit. Appointment of retired judges is done by this. This is Supreme Court or constitutional provision directive. It is easy because this is expected question. High Court of India has the power to review its own judgment as the Supreme Court does. Now, this is not available for Indian Constitution. This is not available as far as Indian Constitution is considered. If you look at Article 137 of Indian Constitution, it clearly says that Supreme Court has the power to review its own judgment. However, the same provision is not there for High Court. So High Courts do not have this. So they said it has, but High Courts do not have this. So answer is only A. So option is A. Only A is correct. High Courts do not have power to review its own judgment. Why? If High Court give judgment, you are going to challenge in the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the country. So you have an appellate system in the country. As a result, High Courts do not have the power to review. The review will be done by the Supreme Court, as simple as it. So this is very easy because they are articles of Indian Constitution. All the candidates who attended our classes, we have said that them in the class. So this is important. Fourth one. With reference to India, consider the following statements. So this is about citizenship. So this question speaks about very simple thing, citizenship. What is the citizenship of these people? With reference to India, consider the following. There is only one citizenship and one domicile in the country. Domicile means the area of residence. Yes. So there is only one citizenship in the country and one domicile. You can be domicile or a resident at one place. A citizen by birth only can become the head of the state in India. No. If you become a citizen by any process, by birth, by registration, by naturalization, anything, you will be eligible to become the head of the state. Head of the state is president. But in US, only the citizen who is born can become the president, but not like that in India. With reference to India, anyone can become the head of the state. You have to be a citizen, and citizenship can be acquired by any means. A foreigner once granted the citizenship cannot be deprived of it under any circumstance. This is absolutely wrong. Not only a foreigner, any citizen can be deprived of their citizenship under some circumstances, because Constitution clearly says in Article 9 that if you are acquiring voluntarily the citizenship of other country, you lose the citizenship of other India. And after acquiring, Representations of People's Act, Citizenship Act of Parliament 1955 clearly says that there are some provisions on which you can be deprived of your citizenship. So this is outrightly an absurd statement. So answer is only A. So fourth statement is A. Very simple question, easy question from the so-called citizenship. Next, going to the so-called parliamentary proceedings or these things. Which of the following constitutes a safeguard to liberal democracy? So you are said to be a liberal democracy. Democracy is rule of the people. So if democracy has to be sustained, people should have ultimate powers over the leaders. Power should be rested with the people, which means the ruling people or the ruling powers like legislative, executive, judiciary, they should have division of powers. They should have separation of powers. So all power should not be vested with one person. Then only people will enjoy the powers. So separation of powers is the most important element that is required in a liberal democracy. Separation of powers. Then only all the powers will be within the rules and regulations, and that is how separation of powers plays a very crucial role. So this answer is separation of powers. Sixth question. We adapted parliamentary democracy because based on British model. But how does our model different from British model? How does Indian parliamentary democracy differs from British parliamentary democracy? If you look at it, as regards legislation, British Parliament is supreme or sovereign, but in India, the power of Parliament is legislative limited. In Britain, the Parliament of Britain is supreme. No one can question the legislations done by the British government. Even the Supreme Courts of Britain cannot question. But in India, Parliament is having limited powers. This is correct. In India, matters related to constitutionality of the amendments of an Act of Parliament are referred to the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court. Yes, there you cannot go and challenge. But here, matters related to the constitutional amendment, if you are amending the constitution, whether that is correct or wrong, can be heard by Supreme Court. Which bench in the Supreme Court will hear? Constitutional bench. So these are the two things which are exclusively in the Indian parliamentary system and which is not in the British system. So this is the basic difference between British Parliament government and Indian parliamentary system. So answer is both here. Both of those statements are correct. Moving further, with reference to union government, consider the following. This is a very difficult question. N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar committee suggested that a minister and a secretary be designated solely for pursuing the subject of administrative reforms and promoting it. So N. Gopalakrishna committee said that a minister and a secretary can be designated solely for subject of administrative reforms and promoting it. So Gopalaswamy Iyengar committee suggested this. So what he suggested is, ministers cannot be the members to suggest these administrative reforms. So this is a wrong statement. That is why it is very difficult. In 1970, the Department of Personnel was constituted on the recommendations of Administrative Reforms Commission 1966, and this was placed under the Prime Minister charge. Yes, Department for Administrative Reforms was started. Department for Personnel was started, and it was under the Prime Ministership today. This was recommended in 1966. So only second statement is correct here. Only second statement is correct here. So Department of Public and Personnel was under Prime Ministers in charge. Remember this. And first statement is wrong. So the answer will become only 2. Next, moving further. Right to privacy is protected under which of the following articles? This is a very easy question because that was in Puttaswamy case. So depending upon Puttaswamy judgment, the Supreme Court of India said that right to privacy is a part of your Article 21. So Article 21 was expanded after the so-called Menka Gandhi case, and right to privacy was made as a part and parcel of Article 21. This thing you have to remember. Next, moving further, What do you mean by constitutional government? What do you understand by constitutional government? Limited governments are called as constitutional governments. So limited powers is called ultimate of democracy, and limited government is called constitutional government. In any constitutional government, ladies and gentlemen, remember, constitution will have ultimate goal or ultimate power, and the government will have limited powers. Government will be limited in its power in a constitutional government. So this is one most important thing that we have to identify. Constitutional government means a limited government. Government is limited. You cannot do whatever you like. This is what constitutionalism is. Because constitution is supreme. Next, again, another question on fundamental rights. Very simple question. A legislation which confers on the executive or an administrative authority an unguided and uncontrolled discretionary power in the matters of application of law violates which of the following articles of the Constitution of India? So, a legislation which confers on the executive or administrative authority an unguided and uncontrolled discretionary power. So, when you are getting ultimate powers, executive is getting ultimate powers, it violates which of the articles of Indian Constitution? That violates the so-called right to equality, Article 14. Again, this is a simple question from fundamental rights. So what Article 14 says? Equality before law and equal protection of laws. This is what this article speaks. Equality before law. Be whomsoever high you are, the law is above you all. This is what equality before law says. Whatever you may be, law is ultimate. So any person will be given less powers compared to the law. You have to be guided by the law. Law is the king here. King is not the law. So law is king. This is what it speaks. A legislation which confers on executive or administrative authority unguided powers or unguided discretionary powers makes them above the law is against right to equality. So the answer is Article 14. So this is 10th question. Moving further. Under the Indian Constitution, concentration of wealth violates which type of article? Under Indian Constitution, concentration of wealth violates which one? Obviously, this is against DPSPs, Directive Principles of State Policy. Which article, ladies and gentlemen? Article 39, Clause B and Clause C speaks about against concentration of wealth. Particularly, Article 39C speaks about it. So, this is Directive Principles of State Policy. 13th. What is the position of right to property in India? Very, very simple question. After 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1968, it was made as the so-called a constitutional right. It was made, so it was removed from fundamental rights. It was added under Article 300A. As a result, it becomes constitutional right, and through this, a statute was made to protect this, that is called right to property. So it is a legal right as well as constitutional right, but not a fundamental right. So legal right available to citizens only, legal right available to any person. Any person can enjoy this right. Fundamental right available to citizens, neither fundamental right nor legal right. It is a legal right available to any person. Next. With reference to India, consider the following. The judicial custody means, so there are two custodies here. Judicial custody, say for example, a person has been arrested by the police. They have arrested him and he has taken to the police station. In the police station, there will be a prison. In the police station, there will be a custody. So whenever you are in the police station as an accused, this is called police custody. The second custody that you will be having is police will take them to the nearby judiciary. So to the nearby court they will take. Now if the court says he is under judicial custody, he will be sent to the bigger prison. You will call it as central jails. He will be kept in the jail. So this is called judicial custody. This is called police custody. These are the two things that you should know. Judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of the concerned magistrate, and such accused is locked up in the police station, not in jail. and such accused is locked up in the police station. No, he is not locked up in the police station. Police station means police custody, not judicial custody. He is under the jail. He will be sent to jail if you are under magistrate. So the first statement is wrong. During judicial custody, the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate a suspect without the so-called approval of the court. If you are under magistrate, you have to take the permission of the magistrate to hand over him from judicial custody to police custody. Then only police station can interrogate you. So police cannot take you an action against you if you are in the judicial custody. They have to apply to the magistrate saying that to give them under their custody, and then they can interrogate. So this is correct. So option B is correct. Option 1 is wrong here. So very, very difficult question I consider, or moderately different as far as this is considered. With reference to India, consider the following statements. When a prisoner makes out sufficient cause, parole cannot be denied to such prisoners because it becomes a matter of his right or wrong. A matter of his right. Now, what is parole? Parole means leaving the person to come out of the jail is called parole. When a prisoner makes sufficient case saying that I should be given out, you have to leave him out because it is his right. It is not his right. It will be the discretionary powers of the judiciary to hear that case, and judiciary can take an action whether they have to give parole or not. Parole is not a right. State governments have their own prisoners release on parole rules. Yes, if you want to release a person, parole means let him free. Who will decide? State governments, because prisons are under state government jurisdiction. Yes, prisons are under state government jurisdiction, and state government can make rules on this. Next question. At the national level, which ministry is the nodal agency to ensure effective implementation of scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers' rights? So this is famously called as the Forest Rights Act in India, 2006. Now, who will be having the ultimate authority, or which is the nodal agency to implement it? This is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Very simple question. At the national level, which ministry is the nodal agency? Ministry of Tribal Affairs is the nodal agency for this. And the last question is, consider the following statements in respect of Bharat Ratna. This is about awards. Bharat Ratna and Padma awards are titles under Article 18, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. These are not titles. What are titles? Under Article 18, Clause 1, titles include, except academic and military titles, no title shall be conferred by the state. However, the civilian awards like Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri should not be considered as titles because the Supreme Court of India has said that. So they are not titles. So one is wrong here. Padma awards, which were instituted in the year 1954, was suspended only once. Padma awards was suspended more than once. This is one thing that you have to remember. The number of Bharat Ratna awards is restricted to maximum 3 in a particular year, not 5. So the answer is, which of the above statements are not correct? All 3 are not correct. All 3 are not correct. So the answer will become D. These are the 17 questions that they have asked in 2021. If you look at all these questions, they were very easy to moderate questions. So this is how you should know what is the themes that UPSC is asking and what you have to prepare. Now, finally, we have one Telegram channel for us. So what you can do is, for more such details, upgrades, so you can subscribe to our Telegram channel, UPSC Preplab is our Telegram channel. So please subscribe to it. You will have current affairs updates, regular updates on UPSC preparation as far as this is considered. So you can subscribe it. It is very free of cost. And this is what the topic of the day is. That is previous year questions as far as UPSC is concerned. Previous year questions as far as UPSC is considered. So what I said, there were 17 questions. Very much of them are very easy. Out of this, 15 questions are directly easy. What are the themes? The themes are there for you like this. So you can follow this thing. This is what we have as far as 2021 is considered. We'll be coming out with 2023, 2020 very soon. Till then, please follow this. It will be helpful to you. I'll be winding up my class here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining. Have a great day. Wish you all the very best. This is Dhanunjay Reddy signing off from UPSC Preplab. Take care. Good luck.